Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I will walk you through how to set up SGPT to use Ollama in offline mode. Let's get started. Simply open the terminal like so, and let's download the Ollama installer file. Simply use this command, press enter. Then, if you are prompted to enter your Kali Linux password, please do so, and this should start the download. Now Ollama has been installed, let's actually use Ollama to pull down the Llama3 model. Simply use this command, which is Ollama pull Llama3. This will take a few minutes to download the manifest file or the manifest files. So the manifest files has been downloaded. Next, let's ensure that Ollama always starts whenever we reboot or power on Kali Linux. Next, let's start the Ollama service within this session. Great. To ensure that Ollama is actually installed properly, let's use the Ollama version command like so. And here you can see the current version of Ollama. Next, let's ensure the Ollama server is actually powered on. Well, not really powered on, but it is running. And we can get a port number that Ollama is actually using. So we'll use this command, Ollama serve. And here you can see that Ollama is bind to the local host address. And it's using port 1143. Next, let's install the shell-gpt, or in other words, SGPT. We'll use the command pipx install shell-gpt. Next, let's create a directory to store the SGPT configurations. We'll use mkdir to make the directory like so. Once the directory is created, we'll get a new prompt. Next, let's use SGPT to pre-build a configuration file for us. We'll use SGPT like so, --configure, and hit enter. Here it is asking for the open API key because by default, SGPT needs a ChatGPT key to work properly. But our goal is to use SGPT with the Ollama Llama3 model in offline mode. So therefore, we can type anything here. To put simply, I'll type Llama. Actually, I'll type Ollama and press enter. Keep in mind that while you type anything within this prompt, it's going to be invisible and you're not going to see it. Once you hit enter, you will get this error, but that's okay. Now, let's actually modify that configuration file that was created. To do this, we'll use nano followed by this command, like so, and hit enter. To get started, let's make a few changes. Firstly, simply ensure the open API key is set to Ollama. Well, it already matters for this one, but most importantly, we need to change the default model. The default model needs to be Llama3. So I'll just use my arrow keys and oops, I made a mistake. So I'll just close this, press End for no, because I don't want to save changes. And I'll just open this once more. And here we go. So going to change the default model to Llama3, like so. Next, I'll need to change the base API. The base API is currently set to default, so I'll need to change that value. Simply delete default and replace it with this, which is http://localhost:1143/v1. Once you're all set, press Ctrl on X, Y for yes to save, and enter to confirm. Great. Now, let's test this out. Let's type SGPT, like so, and whatever we want to ask or whatever query, we need to put it within quotation marks. So let's say something like perform a ping scan to, let's say, Google's DNS server. And let's add an additional syntax or an additional rule. Let's say ping and stop after 4 counts. All right, let's hit enter and let's see what happens. So here it is providing us with the commands and it's actually giving us the results in real time. Pretty cool, isn't it? Let's try to perform an nmap scan on, let's say, a device. However, be sure to only scan devices that you own. So I'll scan a device within my own private network. So I'll say SGPT. I'll use the shell syntax like so, or the shell operator. Then I'll say perform an nmap scan and I'll specify the IP address. The expectation is it should give us the actual command and then ask us whether we want to execute or not. So here's a command. Let's specify the IP as expected. And do you want to execute? I'm going to say E and enter. Using the -- shell operator enables SGPT to interact with the native shell on Kali Linux. Therefore, you can ask it to perform scans and to help automate part of your ethical hacking and penetration testing exercises. As you have seen, you have learned how to set up SGPT in offline mode. I hope this video has been informative for you and thank you for viewing.